the house was built in 2003. It was 2016 at the time. And there were several shingles, so to speak, on the roof that were peeled up and starting to break off. We are also putting an extension on the garage at the same time, and the contractor said, Adrian, you probably should do something about that roof because it's going to start to leak soon. Shingles, you know, where are we going? We going cheap? We going expensive? And I said, we're going to put the best we can get, which was a 30-year shingle at the time. But even the best they had only lasted 13 years on like the south and west slopes. The shingles were terrible, really. The thing is that there are 16 different slopes on the roof of this house, and only some of them were bad. Like it ended up being 5 that were bad enough to be covered by warranty. But that also means that the rest of them are in some sort of stage of decay, and it looked like it was going to be a patchwork job, you know, like a quilt. Shingles were actually separating. The sandstone covering, or whatever that is, that was coming off. They were curling up like a canoe, like from the outside to the inside. And there were actually bubbles on it as well. And I believe, you know, it's just a matter of too much heat. And we've got great insulation and great ventilation in the roof. Otherwise, it would not have gone with the warranty at all. We had to show them pictures of the ventilation as well. So, you know, it just started looking ugly and starting to have pieces come off. So we decided that, you know, if we were going to do anything, it was probably replace everything on the roof or nothing at all. John Amirault happened to have come along prior to that now.
So my daughter lives just up the hill with a couple of other homes like this that are nice. So I kept seeing this one, the roof going bad despair.
So we said, well, what have you got, right?
I said, Adrian, we got to have a talk. So we had a talk.
And so John laid out his display of all the different types he had, and we were thinking that, well, let's go with the traditional shingle look. What would that do, you know? And, you know, like the cost of the job using metal versus tar shingles there's a great difference. However, we're hoping and we're planning on that the difference is worth the cost. We started to do the process of saying, well, yeah, it looks good on paper and it looks good on video, but let's go look at some houses that are nearby. So John gave us some addresses that we could go to. I think we looked at 3 in the immediate area, and then we went to Kingston, which is a 25-minute drive, and there was a roof there that had the aged copper color, which we were probably, that was the one we were interested in. We decided that this is the one we wanted, the one with the, it gives you the Mediterranean style. It reminds us of when we were in Portugal or even down south in Florida.
The roof is large. It has lots of hills and valleys. We chose, naturally, the style that would cost the most and the color that would cost the most. So in the end it was, yeah, okay, all right, this better be good. And realizing that hopefully this is going to be the last roof that goes on this place, we said, yes, it's a massive undertaking, it's a major financial undertaking, but let's do it. We were quite surprised and very willing for them to come in February when they called and asked if they could start in February, and I was stunned that they could start in. It's so cold up here in the wintertime. We're on a hill and the wind just rages, and I really was amazed to see them on the roof. They were impressive because they could work out there, do what they had to do, put up a beautiful roof, and I was amazed. They were very friendly, very easy to have around, and I was just amazed. They did a great job considering what they had to deal with.
I was particularly impressed with that when they were done for the day. There was nothing laying around on the yard. Everything was cleaned up as they went. Basically, I think they had 3 men up on the roof doing the work and 1 guy down on the ground either passing up materials or cleaning up whatever was coming back down, like the used shingles and things like that, and scraps of metal where they had to cut the metal to fit the situation. So that was good. I come home from work and not have to clean up. That was awesome for me.
It was all new. There was a lot of areas that needed some specialty work done after the installation, which our installation manager, Gilles, he accommodated every concern, and the prep work that he did after and the finishing touches, they all came out to be spectacular.
And there was a couple occasions where Gilles, who was in charge of the crew, he was also the spot man on other jobs, so he wasn't here all the time. But like if I saw something, I would just say to Jill as he comes in the yard, we stand there and I said, "What do you see about that corner and that corner, like the opposite sides?" To me, they weren't level. They were not on the same plane, so to speak. So that was taken care of that day before they left. There was also an issue where we have, I think, 5 different valleys where the roof comes together like this. And they had not, in the Maritimes, I was told, had this Mediterranean-style metal installed, except for an A-frame type building. So we had valleys like this, and so it's on an angle, of course, and all that metal has to be cut somehow to fit that groove. And then if you stood at the right place, you would see it looked like gaps. And so I mentioned that to Gilles, and he came up with, he manufactured it himself here in the yard, but he scalloped a piece of metal that would fit into those holes, and now it looks like it's made that way. It's the way it's supposed to be.
I was as pleased as I hoped I was going to be. We had a couple tiny little spots that we spoke to Gilles about. They were just a little bit around the peak of the roof that just didn't quite look right. And I said, "Gilles, I think we need to make that look just a little bit nicer." And he agreed. He's a finisher, perfectionist, and he said, "If you're not happy, I'm not happy." And so he stuck with it, and he got it finished exactly the way I expected it to look. And Adrian knows structure. I'm more decor. So when we saw that the roof looked constructed beautifully and the color was marvelous, I was really pleased. And we've had so many compliments from people that say that it looks really nice and it enhances the house, that, yeah, we're really happy that it's done now. Yeah, good choice.
Yeah, we can tell when it's raining, but not very much. You have to say, "Do you hear that?" Yeah, okay, what's that? "Oh, it's raining." So we can hear that on the metal a tiny bit. The extension on the garage, there's no insulation. It's like bare roof, straight up to the ceiling from the ground, and we have metal on the roof, and I was very pleased that, wow, I thought that would be an oven in there, but it's not. It's fine. So it has worked out quite well. It does slide off in sections, and when it does, it's just a matter of you got to get it out of there. I haven't been up on the roof once, and the roof's been on now a year and a half or so. In the past, I'd be up there, well, quite often, really, for one reason or another. But when we're going through the warranty thing, I was up there, I bet you 20 times, you know, pictures here, pictures there, checking shingles, making sure they weren't leaking. And also, over the last, say 5 years ago, I also had to go up and spray for mold that would grow on the shingle itself. So I'm looking forward to not having to go up on the roof ever again. Would be good with me. When you look at houses, you seldom ever look at a house and say, what a great roof. You know, it's always like, oh, look, the flower beds are beautiful, it's well maintained. But I think when people can come by here and they just might say, what a great looking roof.
I know that every time I see this house coming up and down the street, I slow down just to have another look. That's how nice it is.
It is the color that everybody comments on because it's quite unique at the moment. We're seeing more of the aged copper around, but it is a standout color. And I think that's probably what catches their eye, plus the size of the roof. It's a big roof. And up on the hill, it stands out. So between the color and the size of the roof, I think those two features just ring out loud and clear. And it's interesting because it looks different in different light. So sometimes it looks dark, sometimes it looks sparkly, sometimes it looks light. Like it gives you a different look every time you come up the hill. And of course, different times of the year. So it gives you something different every day.
Well, when we get talking, I suggested to them that people would be driving by to have a look what we're doing, and that was the case. People will drive by and then they call us, and so then I do an appointment and I let the Graafs know when I had that appointment and how successful it was. And we are good guys, and our clients certainly get what they deserve. They're instrumental in getting the referrals and leads for us, as well as us being responsible of finding leads for them. And it all comes together, and you can ask the Graafs because they have received a few, and I'm sure they'll receive more.
I mean, we're both in our late 60s. You know, we could have gone with the cheap job and not worry about it, right? It would have been so easy. But, you know, we might want to leave this to somebody someday, and if not, sell it and make some money off it.
I think definitely the metal roof seems to be the way to go these days. What a person would have to just look at would be, can we afford this? It's an investment, mind you. We're hoping that it's going to pay us back handsomely. Obviously, if you can afford it, that's the way to go. It's something that would put your mind at ease. Everybody wants to have a nice property, but we really don't want to be a slave to it. You'd like it to stay well, look well, without a lot of care or more maintenance, more money put into it. So I'm thinking the metal roofs are the way to go, and we are seeing in the area more and more metal roofs being put up all the time. So obviously it's catching on, and it's just a matter of, for instance, if we were younger and just building a new house, I'm thinking, oh, that would be the time to put it on. But again, it's all about your finances. So you'd have to look at that, and I'm thinking if you could do it, the metal roof is the thing to put on your house.
Never re-roof again. Call us today at 1-866-733-5811 or visit us online at interlockroofing.com.